call to order the special meeting of the Historic District Commission for the City of Saugatuck on Tuesday, June 9th. We will start with roll call.
Baldwin.
Here.
Benarza. Dean.
Here.
Lampin.
Here.
Root.
Here.
Patterson and Straker.
Here. We have quorum. Is there any changes, additions, deletions?
Not that I'm aware.
Do we need to do minutes of the regular meeting in this meeting?
They weren't ready.
I was going to say. Any public comments tonight? Today, rather. No unfinished business. Let's go right to the item, 340 Water Street. Hello. Thank you for the complete application. Anything want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Chad Van Horn. First off, thank you for counting.
In the mic.
Chad
Thanks.
Van Horn, the applicant. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to accommodate our special requests for this consideration. I don't really have anything to say. I think it's straightforward. We do feel as though our request is in keeping with the historic history of the property, dating back to uses that were in the late 1800s and early 1900s and so on and so forth. And feel it's also consistent in keeping with what we've done on the water side, which seems to be pretty popular around town. So thanks for being here and thanks for considering the request.
Thank you. Just open it up. Anyone have clarifying questions about the applications, concerns, additional?
I have just one, just because I wasn't here for the initial
Yeah.
approval. So the garage door that he wants on the side, the north facing, is the same as the garage doors that were permitted on the front waterfront. And there's how many on the other side, that street side?
There's none on the street.
None on the street side, okay. But the waterfront is like really the primary visual from a historic district perspective. So what new consideration, if any, are we taking for putting it on the side where it's less visual versus putting it all along the waterfront where it's much more?
Yeah, so we traditionally have viewed waterside as important as street side on the river. So we did, with this application, to your point, we did sort of give that point of view on the water side of what we were doing. Technically, I think the sides would be non-primary elevations. That this side that they're asking for this door is kind of a primary elevation because it faces the park. It's like a corner lot almost, but I don't know that makes a ton of difference in this particular siding of the property. At least it wouldn't make a ton of difference for me unless it made it more non-contributing.
Got it.
I can wait. I'll weigh in just with some of the things that I have considered in reviewing the application as it relates to the standards that we are asked to uphold in the historic district. So this is obviously a non-contributing structure. And we're always trying to avoid making it more non-contributing. So if I look at this side elevation, and if you were to be an architect designing this building from the beginning, the elevation has some balance to it because of the two windows. The one means of double door means of egress, and then the additional window and door on the end. So I feel the elevation has balance from that perspective. In our guidelines, it does ask that if a window is being removed or replaced, that we replace it with like size openings. There's a reason for that, just because of the architectural integrity of the original plan. So I do have some concerns that the addition of the large overhead door, the elevation makes the building look more non-contributing with it. There's no issue from my perspective with materiality. The materiality meets our criteria that we're asked to follow, but I don't think that it meets the criteria of we replace like for like. That's a concern that I had as I reviewed the application. I do understand the perspective of wanting, to get the maximum amount of ROI on that space by adding that door. But I have concerns, from my position in the historic district based on what I just said. Additionally, the overhead doors on the river side of the building make complete sense to me, again, from an architectural perspective, because that's maxing that view. Whereas I look at the view that you now get to really see on this end of the building as a parking lot. And if you think about that view through all of our seasons, right? I think if you were designing that, if you were drawing that plan, that wouldn't be what you would do on that elevation. That's why it has that higher, smaller scale window. So those are the concerns that I had in reviewing the application.
Okay,
So I'm sorry.
others?
I think that's an interesting point, Megan, because when I looked at the mock-up, I'm like, something seems unbalanced here, but, I was leaning towards, because it's non-contributing and they're using the same material as on the water side, approving it, but I do agree with what you're saying with, the guidelines like for like, and also it does sort of seem unbalanced. I have a question. What are you going to use the garage door for? Are you going to open it up and have seating there, or what's the purpose?
Yeah, so I guess first off, I would say that
Hey, Chad, do you mind going to just so we can, for recordings? Thanks.
So first off, Megan, thank you for those comments. I appreciate that. To answer your question, the use, we had a tenant that wanted to go in there. It's one who's currently downtown in Sagatuck in the historic area. It ended up not working out for them, but I will say part of their, part of our deal for them to come in was to also have a garage door put in, just like we're asking for. So for their use, it was gonna be a necessity for them to take possession of space. For our use, it's a really dark kind of basement-y feeling in there. I don't know if you've been in that space, but it's just kind of a dark corner. We're sandwiched between the restrooms that service the marina and the common hallway. So really, we just want to get maximum light in there that we can, natural light. And then B, we do want to open it up just like we're doing on the water side.
Is it gonna link to marker 14? Will it be?
It is.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So we are intending to reopen the barbecue concept.
Okay.
Hopefully we can do it a little bit better.
Are you gonna be in here in 2 months asking for outdoor seating outside that garage door?
Would you want us to, or?
I just want to, a lot of times I think that, things kind of go inch by inch, and so I'd like to know the broad perspective of what it is you're trying to do.
Answer that with the question that I just gave you. I did call and ask what the guidelines are. Generally speaking, I'm not a proponent of the outdoor parking space, seating. I would prefer that nobody had it. I'd be popular with that, but we specifically chose not to ask to reapply for it. It's been out on Water Street for years. And we obviously didn't come in for that. So we've foregone that. I don't know if it's looked upon favorably or not. If it's favorable, we'd be interested.
It's not within.
Grounded,
Yeah.
we don't have to have.
Were you asking about, Helen, outside that garage?
Yeah, well, I'm just like, how far does this go, right? If you,
Not
right.
street
But
parking.
not the street parking.
Oh, got it. I'm sorry. I was talking about street parking.
Oh, well, either way, I mean, I know
We don't own any more state.
Okay.
So there's no ask to have.
I can't argue with the comments that have already been made about, our guidelines. I do have to say, though, that, I think this addition actually pushes the property more into a property that talks about our historic waterfront, a kind of an industrial, commercial garage door, overhead door, if you will. To me, that does speak to the maritime history of Sagatuck, and particularly our harbor area. And from my perspective, it actually does, I think, start to remove some of the, I'm assuming that's fake, kind of like field stone on the bottom, kind of, I don't know, quarter of the building, and brings it more in line with what's along the waterfront, so, I tend to look favorably on it, just because I do think it helps bring that property, even though it's not conforming and all that, I think it speaks more to our waterfront heritage, where, you would be building boats, you would be, moving boxes of fish equipment in and out, and so I sort of like. I tend to like it in the fact that it is consistent with what's along the waterfront. I'm favorably kind of oriented toward it, to be honest.
I'd actually concur with member Dean, Commissioner Dean rather. I think the reason that I say that is that well, I have a few reasons. One, it's a non-contributing resource. Two, we've approved those doors on the waterfront, which is a much bigger deal than one on the side. Three, the building's already in use for what it's going to be used for. It's not something that they're gonna, it's already a commercial application. We're not taking down a residence. We're not changing the use of this building at all. We're actually making it more favorable to be part of our community in our business district. And I just go back to, not a contributing resource, and we've already approved it along the waterfront. I don't see that it makes a huge difference.
Can I make one suggestion? And maybe this is, to your point, Megan, about another opening that's not there. Page 15. So this building is a cacophony of openings.
Mhm.
Like, looking at this view, there's 6 different types of things going on, and the topography is like boing, 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 all the way down. Then you add awnings, then you add the lick and stick stone. So to me, this is the worst elevation. In the spirit of not making it more non-contributing, if you add this door, can you take away, sorry, Sarah, can you go to 13?
Yes.
If you add this door, can you take away the old colonial pediment above the door on the right? Can we clean it up so that things are like at least more honest and that it isn't so visually active? Because Scott, I mean, you made the point about the stone that I don't think that was there.
In the original application where you guys presented your ideas to do the overhead doors, there was a new stone that was proposed for the lower half that was more of like a dry stacked ledge. And I believe the exterior of the building was getting a color change.
I didn't see.
It was
I
more
didn't notice
black.
that.
What is that not happening now
The
or?
exterior, thanks for those comments. The exterior we did change, as proposed. The approval for the stone replacement, we still want to do. That was
Okay.
actually with a brick product.
Right.
I think a painted brick product, and we hope to do that still.
Because that, if you look at everything, the design is never complete when it's half done, right? So it's difficult to, like, I think what I was actually, if I would have had more time, gonna go back. I just remember that was part of the original application. And I was gonna try to go back and find it because that would have been helpful for me to see the intended look at the end. I think might have helped this addition, right?
Okay. I
But
just,
no, I understand, but it's just like,
That's that point.
yeah, a couple of the folks weren't on that,
Yeah, it's a good point.
weren't there for that submission, but I didn't mean to, I was just wanted to add that as you were speaking, but I also like the thought of taking that pediment off because it's terrible.
Mr. Chairman, to answer your question, that is just trim. It's not.
Right.
It's not protrusion. If you'd be so kind of flip to that street view,
I don't know what page that is.
15, I
15, I
think.
believe.
I think my question would be, would you be in favor of us just mirroring another awning like what's on the street side? Would you prefer That we go to just a simple,
Oh, I think it's just nothing.
Yeah,
It's better than what's there.
For sure. Definitely don't try to keep
No.
up with the size of the building.
No.
that's fine with us.
Yeah.
We can do that. I'm just saying, like, just square it off.
Yeah, I think take away, don't add. I
Right.
think you're adding a big door and you're taking away a detail that reduces visual clutter or keeps it net neutral. It's like buying carbon footprints.
May I ask for an opinion from, I don't know if you can answer it, but I'll ask for an opinion. So this is not a request and I don't want you to freak out like it's coming. But looking at the street view, those large windows that are oddly placed, how would you view a request to replace those with overhead doors? So I'm
I don't know how you would even find a door that's that small. I mean, they'd look like, they'd have to be little, they'd be little.
You mean like just top to bottom doors? I think you mean.
Yeah, they
I
would,
think
they
you
would
just go
start there, but go to the side.
Like true.
Oh,
I mean, it's not part of this application, so
Right.
we would need to hear that separately in an application, but.
My partner also hasn't heard it, so.
Yeah.
Yes. probably-
It's like, huh.
Well,
I mean, I guess just one perspective would be anything that sort of cleans up the integrity of the building.
Yeah.
And makes it more contributing, not less, is probably the lens we would look through. There's also like a charm to the quirkiness, like there's a lot of quirkiness. in it,
Right.
So don't
I
don't take
agree.
that. My comment about all the things going on is just more about the whole property, not about
Yeah.
like, please change this. So don't take it that way.
My greatest qualm with the street side is the fact that the replaced window is so different from the.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think the old ones look more charming than the replaced one. But.
Mhm.
This building also has like electrical service everywhere. It's
Right.
like there's all kinds of
That's
big.
about half as much as when we bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have like the gooseneck lights and there's just a lot. So really, I mean, back to our application, my point is like, keep it net neutral. And I'm okay with the door if we mitigate some of the other activity.
Can I just follow up with one question on just the kind of hypothetical on the overhead doors on the front?
Yeah.
Would that offer any, like, small vistas onto the river or other walls? It's been a while since I've been through when the other place was in there. There's like a corridor in the middle, so you wouldn't really see through, would you?
no.
No.
There's only one space that you could see through, but
Okay.
because of the elevation, that's why that space where the subject space we're talking about feels basementy. Because there's, if we go to this, you can't really see it on here. There's a pretty significant, probably 4 to 5 foot elevation difference from the
Okay.
water side and the street side.
Okay,
So that's
yeah,
really what.
it's coming back to me now. having
Yeah,
been in
yeah,
there.
so if you
Okay.
go on the street side of these buildings right now. You go down a few steps to get to the business.
Got it.
Yeah, even if you did put garage doors on this side, you're not walking straight in.
No,
That would be cool if you could see through from the street.
I'm thinking of 640 water, and
Yeah.
how that was kind of a factor. But
No, there's a corridor all the way.
no, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm
There was all little like t-shirt shops and stuff.
Yeah, I'm remembering. But I've got a soft spot, but this is not part of it, but I have a soft spot for like, old commercial industrial
Yeah.
buildings. The thought of like more of a industrial brick over the kind of the farmhouse field stones is an intriguing idea, but that's for another time.
Well, yeah, so this should be a different application.
Yeah.
By the way, you have everything that was approved before, you have a year
Oh, Okay.
that is good. Beyond that, you'd have to reapply.
so the stone replacement were beyond.
I don't remember. I kind of, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
It might be just,
thought it just weren't finished.
Yeah, I mean, check with Grayson because I'm not wrong on the year, but I might be wrong on the when you start and finish. So the fact that you finished in less than a year I just don't remember the detail on that. I don't know
Yeah,
if you do.
I know you have a year and I can't remember if it's, you know, like if you start within the year, but you're not finished
Right.
yet. I think that might be what it is, but then I don't, I don't know how long you can stretch the
So check with that.
actual construction. I have one more final thing, I guess, from my perspective, and I think it's just important to be mindful of this, which sets a precedent for future. So, I think one of the really good things about having a committed historic district commission is that we do help protect the investment of people who own within the historic district. And so I do just want to be mindful that we set a precedent with this, right, for other projects. And it doesn't really follow our guidelines to a T of replacing like for like. And I think everybody here has made, good arguments and has, good information to offer. So I think that's important. Additionally, that space, the double doors into that unit or that suite, because I remember when Baldy's was there, we actually have our boat right there, and Baldy's was our favorite to like quick grab drinks, get on the boat or food or whatever. But those double doors go into that space, right?
They do.
They're actually,
They go into the court.
they go into the corridor. Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. So people could essentially get into that space if the double door was open. Is that their goal?
If the double door was open, they could get into.
I'm sorry, not the double door, the overhead door. I mean-
Sure, yeah, walk in and out.
They're,
Absolutely.
okay. I'm just thinking
Well-
if that two door means of egress right next to each other causes a problem with flow potentially for, I mean, maybe that works for this tenant, and I understand you're wanting to fill that, but it may not be, like I remember with Baldy's, it seems like that line would form there and there was like potentially condiments there and there was other, I mean, it takes away space that you could, for that small space that you could potentially use for other things. I just think it's important to consider all that stuff. Not that that's within our purview, but
Enormous amount of appreciation for that. And I'll say the entire building was like that, and dumpster by dumpster, we freed up clear areas. And the approvals that y'all did give us on the water side have made that space so much more inviting. So I'll just say on the Baldy side, it was no different. They crammed a lot of stuff in a small space. And all of the removable, like freestanding things like the big metal wood carves and the giant sewing machine and all that have found new homes. So right now we're wide open. We view it much more grab and go-ish, takeout, deli style than trying to seat the 30 seats they had in there that were on top of each other. At the moment, we don't know if we're putting any seating back in there. It may just be wide open.
Where I thought you were going was, I had already gone to that double door as the hallway. If that weren't the hallway and if that were part of the storefront, like two overhead doors, like just making a moment or
Right.
like eliminating one more
Right.
random opening would have even felt more connected to the water. But then I remembered that those two doors go into a hallway, not into a tenant. So.
Yeah, I'm certainly being
No, and I-
to replace those double doors with another overhead, but I don't think we'll get the fire chief on board with that. request.
no, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But
and-
maybe a singular door someday. Anyway,
Anybody else have anything else? Would someone like to make the motion?
Can do that. I move to approve the applicant's request for historic district permit for exterior improvements at 340-360 Water Street, consisting of the replacement of an existing window opening on the north facade with the Coldplay Architectural Series aluminum full view 906U overhead door with blackout anodized framing and clear glazing as proposed based on the application meeting the applicable historic district guidelines set forth in code 152.07.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
And only just any more discussion other than with a condition that the man door on the right on the water side
Reduce the trim
Thank you.
down.
My words.
Oh, do you want me to add that into as a contingency?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do I need to repeat the?
No, I don't
intent?
think you need to add it. We can just add it as.
Okay,
as the
perfect.
Discussion.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yep. Contingent upon removing the trim from the man door on the right of the building.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Opposed? Okay. There you go.
Good luck. Thank you.
Any communication or public comments or any commission comments? I'll just do all three of those at once. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
You, second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thanks, you guys. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
doing this. Thank you.